Let's now speak to the Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union President Joseph Mathunjwa. That's AMCU. They are, of course, a majority union at that mine and have been involved in these negotiations. Then Mathunjwa, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on. Could this have been avoided? I mean, if you consider the fact that there is a 2023 Grundal wage agreement that would have articulated on the processes that needed to be followed before even the ESOP for the Kroondal employees would be considered.
Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers. Thank you for the opportunity. Indeed, it could have been avoided if the employer was very sensitive to the needs of the workers, because this matter was raised as early as last year after Sibanye-Stillwater bought the 50% of Anglo-American, of which then, by look of things or by the facts, those workers were supposed to be well looked after by Sibanye in terms of such conditions, whether it's a condition of employment or for such benefit, of which was left, abeyance from receiving such. We've been engaging with Sibanye from last year. They kept on saying there's still some papers, documents to be finalized. And then we engaged with them even early this year about this matter until it resulted into this stage, which we believe that the employer has provoked the workers, even though one cannot condone to sit underground, but this matter could have been avoided.
So is it your position that the PSA transaction has been concluded and completed? Because the employer seemingly says that transaction has not been concluded, and the reason why, of course, they cannot then incorporate Grundal into the employee share ownership scheme is because that transaction is not yet completed.
They cannot take us into confidence to that. As you will remember, in most interviews that once had about the conditions or the legislation, Labor Relations Act, that is no longer responsive to the challenges that are facing workers. This Section 197 of transfer of business, it's more like, I call it a modern slave trade, where the employers, they can sit somewhere in UK, London, or New York Stock Exchange and sit down and sell the business with the workers without any consultation with the trade union at the workplace about that transaction. So one cannot say the transaction was not concluded because we don't know anything about it. So hence we even calling even now that some of the Labor Relations Act sections has to be amended. Like, for instance, this Section 197. So now they sold the company. They bought the company, the shares from Anglo, from what? 2016, 2017, roundabout there. Until now, they want to suggest, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of timelines, that they haven't concluded. They need to give us, those papers in terms of Section 16 of the Labor Relations Act. Give us the information. Don't just tell us in the boardroom to say the transaction hasn't been concluded. That is what we are following up with them. Yeah. But those workers, we believe that they should have benefited from this scheme.
Yeah. Is that not part of the challenge, the misinformation or the inadequate information? Because there could have been an impression created in the minds of the workers that on the 1st of June, when everybody else related to the Sibanye-Stillwater family or group of companies would be getting those notifications, they would also be getting those notifications. The issue of this PSA transaction was not properly communicated with the employees, at least not the ones that we spoke to last night.
But the company should have communicated, constantly communicating with the workers, that even though you are part of Sibanye-Stillwater, the transaction hasn't been concluded and take the trade unions representing those workers into confidence, of which they've never done it. Even today, as we speak, there is no paperwork that has been presented to us to suggest that, yes, indeed, this transaction hasn't been concluded. It's an exploitation of workers.
So the letter from Sibanye say, well, they call it illegal, of course, action at the Kroondal Mine has ended, and now we will engage with the employees and their union representation. What does that mean? What are we to read from that particular note?
I mean, when the workers were on protested strike, we're still saying the employer has provoked these workers and put them in the situations that they were in. So if it's going to engage with the workers, I don't know what does this mean. By the way, they are the employers. They've got the fullest right to engage with their workers. As for us, as the trade unions, AMCU in particular, we have to wait and see, but we are keep on engaging them to say, conclude this matter. And if workers wish to embark on a strike, on a protected strike, we should follow a proper procedures, not put them to be vulnerable for the Sibanye. You know how cruel Sibanye is. They are very much vicious when it comes to workers.
So what is the channel? Because they're saying now the negotiations are going to follow a set channel that is the normal practice or the standard practice when it comes to these matters. You are saying they are now directly going to be engaging their employees. Is that the channel that has been created?
No, they cannot engage with the employees in terms of issues of mutual interest if there are trade unions at the workplace. So we will be part of it if they invite us. But to communicate whatever they want to communicate is their fullest right. For us is how to look after this interest, after this issue, because the very same shares was part of the wage negotiations of which they deferred to a task team, because they were saying it's still going to take some time, 6 months. 6 months has lapsed, and they come back, and it's what we communicated to workers. We were told by them that from last year, in 6 months, everything will be concluded. Yeah. 6 months has passed, nothing has been concluded. And they haven't took us into confidence about what they were telling us. So therefore, if they called us to continue negotiating, we have to engage with our members or the workers in general, with other trade unions, to say, yes, we are engaging with the employer. But if that means we cannot agree on this matter, the workers, they've got the fullest right, or the trade unions, they've got the fullest right to declare a dispute, yeah. I mean, at the CCMA, right, in order to seek remedies, in order to resolve this problem.
That's again very important, because the process, or at least the expression that says the portal of engagement is still open, it does not necessarily go to say that the distribution or the allocation is guaranteed, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, we cannot be engaging endlessly as if we are morons. We will engage, and hence then we can declare dispute, invoke some of the section of the recognition agreement, and then go to CCMA. If that needs to take a strike, we'll take a strike. It depends what will be the remedy that is provided by the Labour Relations Act, in particular to this matter.
Yeah.
But all avenues for us is to engage and engage, but we cannot just keep on engaging without seeing the end of the light at the end of the tunnel.
As far as you know, of the 213, are any of them facing any disciplinary action? There was a point where there was even a threat, so to speak, of people being fired if they continue with the unprotected strike.
For the fact that the workers, they left underground workings, they are on surface, and I believe the employer wants to address the workers tomorrow, which is their fullest right. we'll wait and see. I think if the employer suggests otherwise, to dismiss or to discipline those workers, to be punitive, I think it won't do the company any good at the end of the day. It won't go, I mean, it does not promote peace. The companies must promote peace. These workers, they deserve. That company was not making money. Workers worked tirelessly to make Kroondal profitable. They made billions of rands. So why is Sibanye-Stillwater delaying to conclude their their transaction of Section 197? Why it takes more than 12 months, whereas these workers, they are under Sibanye? So that means the whole transaction shouldn't be, they shouldn't be reporting to Sibanye, they should be reporting to Anglo then.
Joseph Mathunjwa, appreciate your time. That's the AMCU president there on the Grundal situation. Let's leave it there for this evening.